You're going to hear today, not from me, from Neil. Kelly is the chairman of our elders, and I just wanted to read what Google says about his business. North Cove Builders is a custom home builder in Ottawa County, Michigan, known for its client-focused, transparent process and high-quality construction with in-house carpentry crews ensuring consistency. Neil owns that business, and how many employees do you have, roughly? 15 employees that he manages on a daily basis. And what Google said about his business describes Neil to me. He is consistent, he is transparent, he is hardworking, he's a good man, the chairman of our elders, and if I could have him preach more than once a year, I would do that. But he's going to bring the Word of God to us today. Thank you, Neil.
Thanks, Nate. There's a couple of not as good Google reviews in there too, if you want to read through that. But we'll go for the average though. We'll take it. So, well, hey, it's great to be here today. Like Nate said, I committed to him I'd do this once a year. So here it is. So if you like this, come again next year. If you don't like it, Nate's back up next week. So you're good to go. All right. I am 100% convinced that no one is here by accident. I think that everyone's here because you're supposed to be here today. I don't know what God has to say to you, but I'm going to let you know what he has to say to me, and hopefully you get something out of that. We're actually in part 4 of our message series called Selfless. If you haven't been here the last few weeks, Nate talked in week number 1 about being bold in spirit. We become more bold in spirit because we speak boldly about what we believe. Because the grace of Jesus has transformed us, we are so excited we cannot contain his goodness, and people are amazed by our boldness. Week number 2, he talked about being faithful in service. Service isn't something that we do, it's something that we are. We are servants. I feel like I'm getting a lot of bad echo there, am I? And then last week, Nate talked about being extravagant in generosity. So giving without holding back. Because as Christ followers, we believe it's truly better to give than it is to receive. And we have to lead the way. If we don't lead the community in extreme generosity, no one else will. So that brings us to today. Today, I'm going to talk to you about an odd phrase. At least it was odd to me when I first heard it. But think about it for a second. We're going to talk about being grateful in the grind. It's not usually the best word, grind. Grateful in the grind. Let me explain to you from some of my own experiences first. I think some of you have had some of these similar times. For a lot of my life, I've had the misconception that the next thing is better. I've had the misconception that what's around the corner, it's better than where I'm at today. So, there's always something that's next. And if that thing happens, or I get that thing, it's going to be magical, right? Like, it's just going to be great. It's that thing I desire. It's that event. It's that promotion. That's what's going to give me happiness. I don't think I'm alone. I bet a lot of you have had that same thought. If I could just do this, get that, go there. I'm going to talk about the category of work for me. Nate introduced some of this. I loved building things. In high school, well, before high school. As a kid, I loved building tree forts, tree houses, zip lines, anything that you could build was a good time. So, got to college, high school, I worked for a remodeler. I worked for a great remodeler. But it was the nastiest work you would ever want to do. 100-year-old houses, if you've never seen 100-year-old dirt in a wall, you do not know what nasty is. It is disgusting. So I just couldn't wait to get done with that, get a career where I could build new things, not this old stuff. So I was in college. I had 1 semester left, and I had a commercial construction company hire me to basically work over the summer with the intention of hiring me in January when I graduated full time. This seems good. Let's do that. Let's do stuff. So one of the things they built was video stores. And so my first job with them was to go to Indianapolis and find trades to build a video store. So they needed an electrician and a mason, and this was, I mean, the internet was there, but it wasn't used like it is today. So here I am. They put me in a car, gave me an expense account, said, here you go find us some trades. That was pretty fun when you were 19, 20 years old. So I went there. It wasn't that fun. You're just driving around, knocking on doors, trying to find a trade partner. None of them wanted to talk to you. And so I was like, when I can be on an actual job site and we're actually building something, then that'll be fun. That'll be the deal. So I got back after that, and they said, all right, we got a job for you. We're going to have you go to Houghton Lake, Michigan, and build a family video store. You got a picture of that video store? This isn't the actual one, but you guys remember these. They were all the same. And there's still one in Houghton Lake. I think it closed in 2021, but it's still there. And that would be the first thing that I could tell you that I managed the construction of that building. And it's still there, so that's great. Family Video didn't adapt with the times very well, so they're not still there, but that's all right. So I'm there 3 months. We're building this store, and I have a ton of stories. I could talk all day probably on those 3 months. But afterwards, I was like, this isn't for me. These guys, you're always gone, right? So if in that world, you're in Indianapolis, you were in Columbus, you were here, they're there, and I'm like, this isn't for me. I need something where I can be home every night. I need something better than this. So I went back to school, finished my semester, and connected with the local builder in Grand Rapids, and they hired me after that, and we built hundreds of houses in the Grand Rapids area. I worked for them for about 15 years. I had great experiences. They took care of me. I learned a lot. Kind of grew with them. But it was boring. It was the same thing over and over. So I said, there's got to be something better, right? If I could just be my own boss, then life would be magical. I mean, you won't have problems. You just be your own boss, and everything's good. So I was like, I'll just build a couple houses a year. That would be good, and then, I can take it easy. So I built 3 houses the first year, then 6, then 12, then 20. And then finally I was like, this is crazy. I don't like this. I don't want to do more. So I sat back and we kind of honed in on about 20 houses a year is what we've done now for the last 10 years. And I'm not going to tell you I've got contentment figured out, but I'm a lot closer than I was when I started this. So we've got 15 employees, as Nate said. It's a lot. If you have 15 people in your life, there's 15 people that all have their own lives and own problems and own things. So there's still that. So there's still part of me that wonders, what's better? What's next? What doesn't have to deal with 15 employees? Let me shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about family. So in high school, I wasn't the coolest guy. I had a lot of building guys I liked to hang out with. But I knew that if I could just get a really good-looking girlfriend, I'd be there. Turns out I was not near cool enough to get a good-looking girlfriend here, so I had to go 100 miles away. I met Becky when I was 10 years old. We started dating when I was 16. That's another whole long story for some other time. But now I had a smoking hot girlfriend. So I was like, yeah, this is it. I got it figured out. We got a girlfriend. Things are good. Well, then after a while, we were long distance dating for a couple of years, and then it's like, what we really need to be happy? We need to get married and get our own place. We don't forget this long distance dating thing. This is not good. So we did. We got married. One of the greatest things I've ever done. Then, a couple of years later, it's about 2005. We've got a little girl in the first grade. We've got a 2-year-old boy. It's a picture-perfect $1 million family. I actually had a concrete guy tell me that. You got a $1 million family. I was like, okay, good. Yeah, I wish I had $1 million, but that's all right. But here we were, but something wasn't right. We wanted something else. There's something bigger. There's something better around the corner. And through that, we ended up adopting 3 siblings from foster care. They were 6 months old, 2 years, and 4 years old. And that was another great adventure. The next years, I don't know what happened. These kids ran us. It was a wild card deal. But I can remember specifically thinking these things. When we are just done with diapers, it's going to be better. When we're just done with car seats, if you ever put 5 car seats in an excursion, like just when I'm done with car seats, when the kids could just start playing sports without me, when the kids could just get themselves to practice and I don't have to take them, when the kids just graduate high school, when the kids just move out, when the kids move out again, it's going to just be better. So I found myself, whatever season it was, I was wishing for the current season away and waiting for the next one to come. One day around the corner, there will be that next thing, that next achievement, that next accomplishment, that next friendship, that next vacation. There's always something that's going to fill that emptiness. But around every corner, there was just another challenge, another goal, another dream, another prize. Looking back, I can see that is a weakness in my life. I've been pursuing what I want, my dreams, my passions, my goals. Culture doesn't help. Totally feeds into the mindset, right? Every commercial, every ad, every social media says, it's all just gratify yourself, indulge yourself, get whatever you want. You deserve it. Unfortunately, problem is Jesus said, if you want to follow me, you don't get to treat yourself. You get to deny yourself. He said, if you want to be my disciple, don't indulge yourself, deny yourself. There's a verse I want to use, kind of our anchor verse today. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31. So, whether you eat or drink, whatever you do it for the glory of God. Whatever you do it for the glory of God. I want to have you guys say that with me. I shouldn't be the only one up here talking. I'm not going to be like Nate and ask you 3 times either. So this is like the first time, just do it loud and proud, all right? Whatever you do it for the glory of God. Whatever you do. That's crazy. Whatever you do, everything you do, whether you're doing laundry, whether you're picking up kids, whether you're running around for your boss, whatever it is, do it for the glory of God. When I look at whatever I do, it's mostly for me. I want to do what makes me happy. I want to do what makes me feel good. I want to do what makes my dreams come true. I want to do what fulfills my desires. And I want to do it my way. I want to gratify myself, but Jesus said we have to deny ourselves to really have meaning in life. You do it for the glory of God. The prize is not what you do daily. The prize is what you do daily when you do it for the glory of God. The prize isn't the big thing. It's not the new car. It's not the vacation. The prize isn't what we accomplish occasionally. The prize is what we do daily, doing it for the glory of God. So I want to ask a couple questions. These are going to be statements by the end of this. I think we've got these as a slide as well. But what if work is the reward? What if the prize is the process? And what if you can be grateful in the grind? I want to read again by Paul. This 1 Corinthians 15. He's being a little bit transparent, maybe a little bit vulnerable in what he says here. 1 Corinthians 15, for I am the least of the apostles. I don't even deserve to be called an apostle because I persecuted the church of God. He said, I'm not good enough. Do you know what I used to do? I used to persecute Christians, and he liked it before he found Christ. But, there's always a but. But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace to me was not without effect. So I worked harder than all of them, yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me. I think I like a lot of things about that verse. Starting with the grace of God. He says, it wasn't I, it was the grace of God. There's a few different levels there. I don't think he was bragging when he said, I worked harder than all of them. I don't think he was complaining that he worked harder than everyone else. I think he was just laying it out there, like, hey, I worked harder than everyone else. I'd love to travel back in time and sit with Paul at a campfire. My eyes, it's like a deer campfire, right? So set the visual here. Paul's here. He's drinking wine. That's what they had. I'm not a big wine guy, but I probably would be drinking something else. We're sitting there. We're talking. We talk about, Roman politics, maybe chariot racing, whatever's going on. Then after a while, I can be like, Paul, just unpack this for me, will you? Tell me what you really meant. Just dude to dude, you mean you worked harder than them? What do you mean? So this is what I can imagine him saying. Well, I'm not bragging, but, while other people went to bed, I stayed up a little later, just praying and strategizing. I got up a little earlier, got into work, just really did the right thing for God. When everyone else desired comfort, I realized the following Jesus was not going to be comfortable. I was beaten, just had to go on. I was shipwrecked, just had to keep going. One time I was bitten by a poisonous snake. I didn't like it, but I shook that thing off. Kept on going. When others took a shortcut, I always tried to do the right thing. I memorized God's word. I knew it in my heart. I knew it in my mind. If he wasn't really humble, he would have said, I wrote most of the New Testament. We went to cities that didn't have a single Christian. We managed to start churches. We led someone to Christ, then someone else, then found a leader. We didn't have a lot of resources. We just got the job done. When I was in prison, I didn't say, one day when I'm finally out, I can go minister. I ministered right there. If someone was chained to me, I ministered to them. Give me a pen and some paper, I wrote a letter to the church just because they needed it. I'm just going to do whatever I got to do. When he was shipwrecked, you know what he didn't say? He didn't say, hey, I prayed for protection. God let me down. No, he said, hey, we're still alive. I guess we got to keep going. When his friend Barnabas turned on him, he didn't walk away from the church, right? His friend in the church. He said, hey, I'm not going to get bitter. I got things to do. Let's keep going. If I take a step back, I think you could probably say that Paul was not wishing his current season away. I think he was all there. Whatever he did, he was doing for the glory of God. I don't know who exactly this might apply to, but when you're changing diapers, when you're making sales calls, when you're doing laundry, when you're doing something that just is not fun, you can say in that time, right now, even though this isn't cool on the outside, I'm going to do this with integrity. I'm going to have the heart of a servant, and I'm declaring that this task is now for the glory of God. If you start to say that, maybe you realize the prize is in the process. So when you're grinding it out, just doing normal things, you can say, I'm being grateful in the grind. There's a couple enemies of the grind that I'm going to move through relatively quickly here, but the first one is the pillow. Everyone's got a pillow. My wife's got like all kinds of special pillows, like different neck pillows, these pillows. I just got a regular old Walmart pillow. Pillow, the seduction of being comfortable. You have a builder up here, so I'm going to tell you what you really need to be comfortable. Okay? You need a better home, a bigger apartment. You need more space. Maybe you need less space. Maybe you need granite countertops. Maybe it's walk-in closets. Maybe it's a gas stove. Maybe it's heated tiles. That's what you really need. If you had some of that, you'd be happy, comfortable. Maybe it's cars. My first cars, windows, they went down like this. Now they do this. And then it was the sunroof. And then it was the heat warmers. And then it was the butt coolers. And then it was the heated wheel. And then it was the heated seats in the back seat. You got to have all the features to really have it. You know, then you'd be happy if you just had that. Or financially, if you just had enough money to take life easy, right? That's all you need, just enough to, I can take life easy. Well, I hope you understand, God never called us to easy. He called us to deny ourselves. Easy never changed the world. And yet, the pillow still cries out. We want comfort. There's another distraction. We all have it probably here today. Right here. I call it the shiny thing. It's the lure of constant distractions, right? Ding. Oh, what did they put on Facebook? Oh, I'm in Facebook. Wonder what kind of boats are here. Oh, what else can I do? No, I'm on Netflix. Every Netflix show has a show after it that's 90% or better accurate that you're going to love it. And you could just spend your whole day on there being distracted. It's the carrot and the donkey. The donkey continues to chase the carrot, and you never really seem to find any satisfaction. There's one more. There's one more here, and this is what we call a towel. This is really a nasty towel I got out of the storage room here, but it's a towel, though. So, the towel. This isn't about a towel. It's about throwing in the towel, right? The temptation is to throw in the towel. I'm done with it. When marriage is difficult, I just don't feel the butterflies anymore. Throw in the towel. When you're trying to get out of debt, when you're trying to get your finances in order, the dishwasher breaks, something else happens, put it on the credit card, just throw in the towel. I'm done. Yeah, we might as well. In church, I can't tell you how many times I've heard some version of this. Well, I tried church twice, you know. They were mean. They were too liberal. They were too conservative. They didn't give me a good parking spot. I'm not going back there. Just throw in the towel. Or in the church, that church didn't appreciate me. I was not making any difference. It's just too hard. So forget it. Just throw in the towel. So you can throw in the towel, or you can pick the towel up, wipe off the sweat, and get back to the grind. Doing it for the glory of God. When you realize that work is the reward, the prize is the process, we can be grateful every day in what we do. Let's think about Paul for a minute. I think he was passionate about something. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was music. Maybe he was strumming the ukulele or whatever they had. He was just hoping to be discovered, right? He could make it. Maybe it was art. Maybe he was a painter. Maybe he just really thought, man, if my paintings just take off, I'm gonna be there. I'm not sure what his passions were, but I do know he had some. And I can also tell you what he was not passionate about. He was not passionate about getting beat and left dead for dead. I promise you, it wasn't on his bucket list. Boy, God, if I could just get beat and left on the side of the road, that'd be awesome. No. So, what did he do? Instead of pursuing selfish passion, he pursued God's purpose. And then he would say things like this in Acts 20, verse 22. And now, compelled by the Spirit, I'm going to Jerusalem, not knowing what will happen to me there. I only know that in every city, the Holy Spirit warns me that prison and hardships are facing me. However, I consider my life worth nothing. To me, my only aim is to finish the race and complete the task the Lord Jesus has given me, the task of testifying to the good news of God's grace. His only aim, his one and only aim, was to live on purpose. What does purpose do? It helps us be passionate about ordinary things. Something mundane, something ordinary, even something boring. Some of you experienced that in the last couple of weeks as you serve at church. You know, you're just making coffee. You're just filling fountain drinks. You're just helping with kids. You're just holding the baby. You're just vacuuming carpet. What normally seems ordinary becomes extraordinary because it's not just a task, it's a purpose. As Christ followers, we wake up, we need to say, God, this is your day. Every day. We're striving for God's glory. We're not running like a man aimlessly. We're running every step on purpose. We are directed by the Spirit and empowered by the Word. We are loving people everywhere we go. When we walk in the room, we should be the climate changers. We should lift the moods of the people that we come in contact with. We need to go everywhere on purpose. We go with the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead. We are ambassadors of the Most High God. We lift others up. We show strangers love. It's on purpose because we don't do anything halfway. Whatever we do, we're doing it for the one who changed our life. If you knew us before, you would think we weren't good enough. But the grace of God, that's what does it. And because of what he's done in us, we are going to work hard. Don't be confused, though. It's not us doing it. It's the grace of God that's getting it done through us. So whatever you're doing, driving your kids all over town, preparing for school, fighting to hold your marriage together, you're doing it on purpose. When you're caring for your aging parents, you're doing it on purpose. When you're in a job that you hate, you're doing it for the glory of God. When you're paying down debt, when you're fighting cancer, you're doing it for the glory of God. The prize is not the promotion, I promise. The prize is not the fancy car. The prize isn't when you get that dream vacation. It's not when you get discovered on YouTube and get the big bucks. The prize is now. The prize is here. This is the day the Lord has made. And because the grace of God, we can rejoice and be glad in it. You see, life, it's not about us indulging. It's not about treating ourselves. It's about denying ourselves. And when we deny ourselves, Christ wins and his church wins. Pray with me. God, it's a joy that you let us sacrifice for your kingdom. Thank you that the prize is in the process. God, we know you're here with us, and we know your Spirit guides us and strengthens us. We are grateful in the grind. Finding all things, God, because your Spirit is right here with us. God, we want to be selfless. We want to deny ourselves. We can be grateful in the grind, and we do it for your glory because of who you are and what you've done for us. So God, I thank you so much that your Spirit is speaking to us today. Help it to be powerful. Help it to be life-altering. Help us. Help us. Help us. God, we do it for your glory. When we do the small things, when whoever we're helping, even if we're struggling, God, we do it for your glory. God, help us serve you. Help us recognize the work can be in the reward. The prize is the process. And God, thank you for the grind you give us and allowing us to grind for you.